Did you guys know that I have a spin-off channel? Because I do, and you guys should totally come and check it out if you're interested in games like Genshin Impact or just drama, random stuff that I find online, thick plot, who knows? Maybe you'll enjoy it. Shameless plug, by the way. Regardless, we got plenty to talk about this week. MMOs shutting down, new MMOs breaking records, so I hope you're excited. Before we jump into today's video though, I would like to take a moment to thank Conqueror's Blade for sponsoring this video. For those of you that have been watching me for the last couple years, you'd know that I've played Conqueror's Blade on a multitude of occasions and enjoyed my time spent within it. This is a fairly unique title in so that it provides both the tactical functionality of a strategy game and the massively multiplayer functionality of an MMO together to form this interesting amalgamation of the two. Now, Season 10 Highlanders is currently active. If you click that link in the description or the pinned comment below, you'll gain access to the game along with 7 days premium completely free, which I feel is an opportunity many of you are not going to want to miss out on. Season 10 brings with it brand new units like the Bagpipers that can buff allies, Claymore wielding warriors and archers. There's an entirely new siege map for players to participate in, a new battle pass with a brand new seasonal campaign, providing some sweet cosmetic items, a plethora of new features and quality of life changes. This is an MMO that is unlike any other, and I am being 100% serious with you. You participate in massive battles with varying objectives against a horde of enemies seeking to gain strategic advantage over all of them while hoping that your allies don't fail you, like mine so often do. But hey, that's kind of a me problem. Maybe I'm just bad at working together in group content, I don't know. If this is something that interests you guys though, if you're in the market for something new and exciting that you've never tried before, click that link and try Conqueror's Blade out right now. Now with all that out of the way, we got quite the news video, so let's go ahead and jump right in, shall we? I'm not sure how many of you remember Eternal Magic. I feel as though every single MMO content creator at the time of the game's release was sponsored to cover it, yet even with all that coverage, some positive and some negative, the game failed to really take off. And after a mere 2 years online, the publisher has decided that it is time to shut the title down. Hundreds of thousands of players tried this game out when it launched. Cities were packed with players. You could not run 10 feet without encountering another player. Yet that was short-lived, as the player base dried up in seemingly days after players began to realize that this was a low-effort, soulless grind. Joining Eternal Magic is the twice-launched Kritika REBOOT, originally launching years ago as Kritika Online and recently re-releasing as Kritika REBOOT with really nothing at all rebooted whatsoever, just the additive reboot onto the name. As of February 16th, the final remaining server for Kritika will be taken offline, which honestly really doesn't come as that big of a surprise, given there were, even before this announcement, a mere 140 people logging in to play concurrently, down from the 4,000 that was recorded at launch. While this will no longer be available in the West, it is worth noting that Innova are going to be releasing Kritika REBOOT in Russia and CIS countries beginning in the first half of 2022. Innova are the same publishers of Blade and Soul, Crowfall, Aion, and Lineage 2 within those territories. As this has already been re-released in the past, I realistically would not rule out a future re-release either on PC or mobile devices somewhere down the line. Now, wait, hold on. We have another MMO shutting down. Did you say that MMO was TERA? TERA is shutting down? Oh, wait. Is Gameforge shutting it down finally after they realized that nobody was left playing it? Oh, no. TERA EU isn't shutting down. It's the much more popular Japanese version of the game that's shutting down. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. So, there are 3 versions of TERA that remain. The Korean, the European, and the Japanese. Okay, well, the Japanese TERA is shutting down, so there are 2 incarnations of the game that remain. Although both the Japanese and the Korean iterations of TERA were significantly more populated than Gameforge's, so it's interesting to see Japan closing their servers down before Gameforge does. No reason was given specifically, but Japanese players were distraught with tens of thousands of likes, retweets, and comments left by their broken community. In more positive news, Elyon released a large update last week that included the brand new Archer class. This should be cause for celebration. New content, new players, except there weren't really any. While the update brought with it a plethora of new shinies, the player base saw an increase of, well, to put the increase in players into perspective here, a week after the update, the game is still declining further than the previous week, meaning that the update specifically achieved nothing. Players were not at all interested, which is not a surprise, I guess, as that has been the general consensus of the entire MMO thus far. Then in news that I never saw coming, and realistically news that I guarantee you never saw coming either, Aura Kingdom is receiving a new update. A fairly large update as well, with a new level cap for players to grind towards, multiple new maps for players to explore, a set of new quests that culminate in the unlocking of several different dungeons, and quite a bit more. For those of you that thought Aura Kingdom was dead, well, let's be real here, it is, but it is still somehow receiving the odd update here and there. I'm honestly not certain the active player base really warrants that necessarily, but I'm glad to see it still doing things. Aura Kingdom does, after all, remain one of the only anime MMOs left for players that enjoy the unique aesthetic that anime games supply. Then in the yet untitled Runeterra MMO news, Ghostcrawler revealed that while vague, their team's philosophy is, if you want to play a single player game, there are great games out there. Horizon, God of War, Persona, shout out to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. If you want to play a game with a community, with friends, then play our MMO. This, to me at least, is a promising confirmation that the core of the game is going to be based around the massively multiplayer aspect. Man, the last time I covered both Bleeding Soul and TERA in the same video was probably the beginning of 2021, so it's been almost a year. Wow, how time flies, right? Celebrating its 6th year anniversary, NCSoft opted to release the Soul Resurgence update, bringing with it a new specialization for the Soul Fighter class, a new mythical dungeon, and various other activities to celebrate it remaining online for as long as it has, which is admittedly an achievement and also a surprise to everyone at this point, given how many MMOs have shut down over the course of the last 2 years. I feel like this week should be titled the week of classic announcements, as we get TERA, we get Bleeding Soul, and Aion all at once. Wow. Although Aion's news isn't necessarily positive, Aion Classic wasn't remotely close to being as successful as NCSoft were hoping it'd be, nor was it the classic experience that players had expected it to be. And this is evidenced by the fact that NCSoft has revealed that they are merging the North American servers into one large mega server for the region. To celebrate, and I use the word celebrate very loosely here, the merging of the servers, players will get to participate in an event called the End of the World. It makes sense, consolidating the remainder of the player base into a single server, and this was kind of expected. I'm genuinely surprised the classic version of the game lasted as long as it did. Final Fantasy XIV has seen monumental success with their latest Endwalker expansion. Both MRSSTIX and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but one thing that we noticed, one thing everyone noticed was that server queues, even a month after launching, were atrocious. To date, logging into Gilgamesh after 5 p.m. on a weekday can result in queues of 600 to 1,000. Due to this, Square Enix actually disabled the ability to purchase the game, meaning new players were locked out of playing or participating in any form. Man, talk about suffering from your own success, am I right? As of last week, Square revealed that not only are they adding the new Oceania data center on the 25th, but sales will also resume on the 26th. They're also working to increase the limit on the number of active concurrent players logged into individual servers, specifically within Japan right now, with the addition of new servers being planned for North America and Europe later this year, in July and August respectively. Chimeraland was... oh man, Chimeraland. That game was arguably both the best and the worst MMO experience I have had in recent memory. See, on the one hand, on PC, not on mobile, this game was such an atrocity. Legit, the worst looking, the worst playing functional MMO release that I have played in years. Yet at the same time, there were so many things to do to just waste your time with. The game barely worked. It was filled with bugs to the point you just sat there in disbelief, at times laughing. And well, you know what? I did a video covering this in much greater detail. If you're interested in checking that out, which I totally urge you to do because MRSSSTIX did the editing for it. This is a newly released, fully cross-platform MMO that, with enough time and effort devoted to development, might not actually be absolutely terrible. While 2022 has seen multiple MMOs shut down already, on the other side of the spectrum, some games like Black Desert Online are seeing more success than ever. Pearl Abyss revealed that they had actually seen in the month of January alone a net increase of 230% in terms of active players logging into the PC version of Black Desert from both North America and Europe. Factoring in other regions around the world, Pearl Abyss stated that there has been an increase of 165% in terms of new daily players logging into the game, putting Black Desert at what is likely the number 3 most populated, most played MMO right now. Then Microsoft went and flexed just how much money they have by purchasing Activision Blizzard, the developers of World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo, StarCraft, and more, for $69 billion. One of, if not the largest move a tech giant like Microsoft has ever made in the gaming industry. What does this mean for WoW though? A potential addition to the Game Pass with the removal of its monthly subscription, maybe a change of business model to a free-to-play title, maybe a different development team, maybe new direction, mobile ports, a console port, who knows? But the future is definitely looking potentially brighter than in recent memory for not only the IP, but for also the company. And finally, I do plan on doing a dedicated video covering this next week, but I do want to just take a brief moment here to make it known right here and now, across every Blue Protocol subreddit, across every Blue Protocol Discord channel, users are claiming that they have the files necessary to run the upcoming MMO locally on your computer. You're just required to go ahead and download the files to your PC, and this is actually being done. People are going out and downloading these files repeatedly. It's unconfirmed whether you're fully capable of running the beta client locally or if this is going to compromise your PC, but please do not download anything from anyone claiming that you will be able to play Blue Protocol. This game is not ready yet. Trust me, when you can play it, I will let you know. And that is it. That is everything relating to the MMORPG genre that mattered to me over the course of the last couple weeks. It was a couple weeks that were packed with news, both good, some bad. If you think there's anything that I missed covering that you feel should be included, let me know, and I'll either do a dedicated video on it or I will include it in the next news video.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it.